Zach Cowie is the music supervisor for Little America, the new Apple TV series. I'm at Noble Gold Derby, and Zach, I was interested in what piece of music do you think was the most powerful in telling the stories of Little America?
I mean, it's tough to say as a whole because it's an anthology show. For the folks that haven't seen it yet, it is 8 different episodes, anthology style, all based off of real stories of people immigrating to America and kind of telling the story of leaving their country of origin and integrating into America. So it's tough to summarize everything with a song because each episode you're dealing with a different country of origin, different time period. But I think I might have an answer for that.
Cool.
The episode called "The Sun" is about a guy from Syria who comes to America, and he is gay, which is illegal where he lives, or where he's from. And he's kind of coming to America to just find total freedom with who he is and the life he wants to live. And the end of the episode, I don't think this is a spoiler, but he is taken to his first gay club, which is like mind-blowing to him to just see so many people being so free. And before I was a music supervisor, I've been a DJ for like 20 years, and I'm from Chicago, so house music is really big for me. And a big thing in like the house, disco, underground, loft, club scene is that like total unity, like everyone's invited. And I closed that episode. I brought some props.
Oh, nice.
I closed that episode with this 12-inch by Alias called "Follow Me," 1992, strictly rhythm. And this is an anthem of equality of house music. So I think that if I could like seal up the message of this entire series with one song, it's "Follow Me," which is just we're all in this together. We can all dance to the same music. We're all the same kind of thing. So that's that answer.
You say that you had sort of a former life as a DJ, though I understand you still do it from time to time, and you part of Wood and Wisdom with Elijah Wood every now and then. How has being a DJ informed your role as music supervisor on TV shows?
Well, I think it's what's strange is even as a DJ, I've been a DJ since I was like a teenager. But I was also in the record business for about 12 years, working a different record label. And my first jobs were at record stores. So, my whole life, I've just been learning music, consuming music. And in each one of those roles, like record store especially, I kind of have to know enough about everything to be helpful to people, So it's not just like what I'm into at the moment. I need to kind of be able to walk my way through whatever genre is put in front of me. Like if a customer comes in is like, I like this, what else would I like? I have to have an answer for that. So that at a very young age made me kind of start realizing that there's something great to be had everywhere, any type of music, any time period. And I just got sort of obsessed with studying it and finding it, which led me to, going into other countries to do that work as well. So, I've been collecting international music while I've been traveling around the world since I was about 19. And then DJing, there's a certain amount of what I'm into, at the moment. But a big part of it is reading the room, reading the crowd, and kind of figuring out what serves the situation that kind of meets my, I guess, quality standards. And all those things together are like the skill set for music supervision. You know, the story, the script, the characters, like I'm serving them. It's not like what I'm listening to right now. I'm serving them with you know, to what I would say are the best choices in serving their situation and moving a story along. So it's this weird blend of like, sure, like I guess my feel will be in there somewhere, but it's way more of an empathetic position than like, you know, welcome to my awesome playlist, you know?
Yeah, and what better show than Little America for that, where you have like such international flavors to each episode and different cultural experiences and different time periods also that you're trying to convey. What was the most sort of challenging episode to get right for you?
Well, I mean, I just got so lucky. You know, this is like a dream show for me. Not only musically, but it's also it's a really rare opportunity to work something that you can kind of express your politics and your position with. You know, I'm like, everyone's welcome, you know, we're all the same. And it especially like in the time we're living in now, to actually be able to contribute to that message artistically, I think is I feel very, very lucky to have had that chance. But when I was like given the list of countries when I signed on to the show, I was pretty familiar with kind of different sounds that happened in each of those places just from my studying over the years. But I would actually say that the ones that were more challenging were the I think we ended up calling it the Grand Prize Expo winner.
Yeah.
We always have like working titles, and then I never know like what it's called when it's on the air. But that one was tricky because you know, she's coming from, it's a minute since I've seen this. I think she came from China, I think. But her whole thing, you know, as a character, is she was just kind of almost like a blank slate. Like her whole thing in life was to take care of her kids, and there isn't a lot of her being expressed. So in a weird way, like that was an episode where like the formula that I was using on other episodes, which is like represent music from the country of origin, and then represent the music of America during the time that they come here. It didn't totally work for her because it would almost take away from this arc of her kind of finding herself. So she ends up, we chose a Dusty Springfield song for her to sing in karaoke. And it's kind of the only thing that she does in the episode to give this huge clue of like what she likes. So I ended up just doing the whole episode in Dusty Springfield songs. And it made sense. And more, I got tons of props here.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we used Windmills of Your Mind off this record in a montage I really like for walking around the casino cruise. So, you know, the anthology shows are I mean, they're a dream come true for Supervisor, because I basically got to work on 8 movies with 8 totally different sounds. And a lot of the solutions to those puzzles, some of them are harder to crack than others.
Yeah. That is interesting. Like, it's a series, but as you say, it's more like 8 movies that you're putting together. Was there any sort of consistent themes or approaches you were looking to thread through those 8, or did you approach them separately?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of the hope, where like that whole idea of like my touch being there, even though it's serving all these different stories. The hope is that, you know, my ear making all those decisions will give this like weird through line to it. But if that's not apparent, just something as simple as our opening title sequence really kind of threads the whole thing together. Obviously, the message threads together. But for each episode in the title sequence, we do these title cards of all this kind of really like almost like William Eggleston, like Americana photography, with all these old signs, and we juxtapose that with a traditional song from each episode's country of origin. So I pulled a few of those.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. So our Nigerian episode called "The Cowboy," we open up with this Isi Arinze track, which is really kind of traditional Nigerian high life, which is a sound late 50s, the mid 60s. Really, really beautiful, like guitar-driven stuff. Open the episode with that, and it has I think a really cool effect with this kind of music up against all this like American iconography. The Rock, that episode, which is Iranian one. I open up with a song called Goli Yaka from Karush Yagmai. And this is I think early 70s, Iranian, and I guess worth mentioning, the Rock was the first episode we worked on, and I had an idea for the title sequences for each one to be an international song that had been sampled in a big American hip hop track. Because to me that was like, that's the essence of this show. You know, hip hop is made in America, but to make hip hop, you borrow things from all over the place through sampling. And
wow.
And so this Karush track was Kanye sampled it in a track for months. So I was like, all right, I've got the plan, but I couldn't figure it out for every episode, so I kind of gave up on that, but just stick with the international stuff. And I think I pulled a couple more. I got 2 more.
Awesome.
Baker, we open up with a track from this compilation called Kampala Sound of 1960s Ugandan music. And I guess this goes back to that earlier question you asked. Now that I think about it a bit more, Uganda is the toughest to work with. And that is only because in the era that I'm pulling from, there were no recording studios in Uganda. So even though there were musicians there playing music, not a lot of it got recorded. And this is a rare instance to find a compilation with Ugandan musicians being recorded, but a lot of them were recording in Kenya. And this was like insane to figure out the licensing, and that's a whole other story. And then the last one I pulled is a soundtrack that's in our episode called, I think it's The Manager, the India episode. I opened up with a track called Udi Baba from the score to Vidhata. And the vocalist on this is one of my favorite Indian singers ever, Asha Bhosle. She's huge. She's like 10 times Elvis in India, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
But I love her. If you remember that, there was that song in the 90s, Brimful of Asha by that band Corner Shop. That's a song.
Yeah.
That's a song about
Asha. That's cool.
Yeah. Those are my intro song props that I pulled. There were a few more, but I only had a few minutes to get ready for this.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But I want to make sure before we get before we finish the interview, are there any more CDs you have you want to show it? A record, sorry, that you want to show?
Yeah. I've got a few. The episode that I've chosen for the Emmy submission is the Cowboy.
Yep.
This was it was hard to pick. Like I'm so proud of all these episodes and I love all this music, but there was something that happened in that one that just like got me so stoked, because I listen to music from everywhere, but something that's particularly close to my heart is Nigerian music. And I also love country music. And I got a little Waylon Jennings tattoo here.
Oh, nice.
But it's not every day that I have an opportunity to mix like Nigerian music, like the Jadoo Sisters, who we used a couple times. Actually, I met them about 6 years ago. I DJ'd as an opening act for a show that they were a part of. And they're like really, really amazing kind of mystical twins. Like they alternate words when they talk. It's amazing.
Oh, that's so cool.
But you kind of have this sense that they are a bit magic and kind of know things. And they wrote on here, "This is not the last time our paths will cross." And as they predicted, like 6 years after, I got to get in touch with them to use some of their songs in the show. And their stuff has never been used on TV or in film. In fact, a ton of the stuff we use in the show has never been licensed before. And Kehinde very unfortunately passed away weeks before the show came out. But she got to see it, and it was something that she was extremely proud of. So that's like I'm very, very, very happy to facilitate that. So it was a kind of a rare opportunity to mix something like the Jadoo Sisters with like Waylon Jennings and Billy Paul. Pretty sure it hasn't happened before. But yeah, and in all that is kind of, that's my musical side of this message we're trying to get across in this show, which is it's all the same stuff, man. Everything, it's all the same. We're all the same.
Yeah, and the show less so gets on a political soapbox as much as sort of just gives you a window into maybe different perspectives of American life and American experience than people might be aware or have encountered in their own lives. You've got, Zach, you've shown us a lot of prop records. You've got, I don't know how many records behind you right now. Do you have a favorite record of all time?
I don't know, man. I mean, that's impossible. I could maybe, if I worked on it, because this is one of the walls. They're all the walls.
Yeah, I guess it is your job. Like, it is your living. Like,
but I think I could work on a top 30. It would take a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think there's certain things that are kind of like sort of. I guess there's a moment in a listener's life where you kind of start making your own decisions about what you like versus the stuff that was kind of put in front of you and you liked it. And for me, I grew up like through like babysitters and stuff. Like I loved Led Zeppelin. I loved the Grateful Dead, like because it put in front of me. I loved the Beatles. But I would say the first thing that I went out and found on my own as a kid, and I was like, this is mine, is the Velvet Underground. And so I can't imagine my musical life without them. So I'd probably have to put one of their records in like at least a top 3.
Hmm.
Their third self-titled record in my top 3.
Well, Zach, thanks so much for talking with us today. You got an Emmy nomination for Master of None. That must have been exciting to have gotten that. Yeah.
That was a wild year, let's say that.
Yeah. And how cool would it be if you got another one for Little America? So, yeah.
Thank you for taking the time.
No worries. And people watching this interview, you can go to goldderby.com to make your own Emmy predictions and watch other interviews with award contenders. Zach, all the best for the Emmy Awards and also just for things moving forward.
Thank you very much.